I hated Yesteryear. I was so disappointed and I felt like manipulated by it. It did not give me what it promised at all in any way, shape, or form. Hello, friends. I thought I would chat with you about something that I was thinking about after I read the book Yesteryear by Caro Claire Burke. This book is all the rage on BookTube and Bookstagram and all of the places that you find books. It is a very polarizing book. It seems that people either love this book or they hate this book. And it really made me think of one book that I read in particular in the past for certain reasons. So I thought it would be a really fun idea to talk about books that you should read if you loved or if you hated Yesteryear. Books that are in a similar vein that maybe you could find, ones that maybe worked better for you than Yesteryear, or ones that work just as well for you as Yesteryear did. So I came up with a few books to recommend to you if you fall into either one of these categories. So if you loved Yesteryear because of the trad wife fantasy meets reality, then I think that you should try Kindred because of the historical displacement, time slip idea, all the very wonderful and interesting aspects that book presents, because that book was totally brutal and emotional and just totally unforgettable in so many ways. And I wouldn't say that it necessarily fits into the trad wife category because it does take you back into time where slavery was a thing and the main character has to overcome a lot of obstacles in a very different way. But it does take you back in time and it does discuss some of those traditional female roles. Also, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, although this is a different genre, because it does offer up that glossy facade that actually is hiding, a deep, unsettling unhappiness. Then another option, if you're interested in the woman confronting the romanticized past, I think that Outlander is a great option. Outlander is one of my favorite books, and a lot of people agree and disagree. So again, this is another polarizing book. This one is a female who finds herself falling back in time into the 1800s, right before wartime, I believe. It's been several years since I read it. It is a very large book, and it definitely deals with traditional female roles in family and society and how this very modern woman deals with and confronts those values as an outsider, how she subverts those traditional roles by being a strong female. And, it has a lot of romantic aspects to it, but it also really delves pretty deeply into the historical aspects. And I think that is the book that I really thought of when I wanted to talk about this, because one of my main complaints with Yesteryear was you go into it with a lot of expectations and desires to see the goings-ons in the historical part, the 1850s, when she's supposedly, going back to them for some unknown reason. And you don't really get a lot of that in Yesteryear. I think that it was really lacking in that area. So I think that Outlander is a great alternative if you are really interested in seeing a modern woman traveling back in time. Because in this book, she actually does travel back in time, and you could spend most of your time there in this story. And so I think this is a great alternative. I know it's an older book, but if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. There is some spice in it for sure. There's definitely spice. It also really offers some great characters, some great historical aspects, really great scenery, and exploration of that time period and the political things that were happening in Europe, in Scotland and England. And so yeah, highly recommend. And also another book that I noted down is The Time Traveler's Wife. Because while the wife is not the one necessarily doing the time traveling, you still get some of that time traveling fun and experience. And this book really plays with time in a very unique way. And I feel like, again, this is an older book and there's a movie, so many people are probably already familiar with it. But if you haven't read it, you really should. It is a really great story. Also, I have not read this book, but I have heard that Night Bitch is a really great book. If you're interested in messy motherhood, identity collapsing, dark humor, feminine rage, all those topics, ideas, I have heard that that's a really, really great one. And I do hope to get to it soon. I have it on my TBR. So yeah, that was just a quick little, if you loved this or if you hated this, then maybe you should try that, because I hated Yesteryear. I was so disappointed and I felt like manipulated by it. It did not give me what it promised at all in any way, shape, or form. I thought that the author did a really good job at writing an unlikable character. The premise was super fantastic and great and unique, and it really talked on some important themes, but the execution totally failed for me. I think that, like I said, I think I was manipulated and promised something that the author couldn't and didn't provide. I don't think that the writing was anything spectacular. I think that the character should have spent a lot more time back in the 1850s, and that we should have spent a little bit less time, or at least equal time, in the present, or where you're learning about her history and how she got where she is. I think that it should have been a little bit more balanced, and I think that that would have made it a little bit better for me. I have nothing against unlikable characters. I think that they have value and are an important aspect in writing books, because it is more true to life and reality. But there are other things that she should have followed through on, and it would have made the story much more well-rounded and fulfilling and satisfying. And yeah, I just really don't think that we got that. And if you feel like you got shafted, like I feel like I got shafted, then you should try Outlander, or maybe one of the other books that I mentioned. But I don't recommend Yesteryear. Yeah, if you loved it, I'm so happy for you. I think that's great. And I can totally see why maybe you loved it. But I also think that you should try some of these other ones and see if they don't work just a little bit better for you. That's all I have to say for now, guys. I just wanted to give you that little spiel and offer up some other books. And I hope that your reading is going so good. I would love to know what you thought about Yesteryear. So, drop me a non-spoilery comment down below. And until the next time, I'll see you later, guys. Bye.